Welcome to VGuide TV. Ray Optics and Optical Instrument Part 9 is brought to you by VGuide TV. And in this video, I'm going to discuss about the few important points for boards and for competitive examinations. Most of the important topics I discussed in the previous videos. These are the topics you have to remember. See, I'm giving the few points for a mirror. If two mirrors are at 90 degree, it means that if two mirrors are inclined at an angle of 90 degree, always the emergent ray is anti-parallel to incident ray. Always the emergent ray is anti-parallel to incident ray. Second point, if a plane mirror is rotated in the plane of incidence through an angle of theta degree, keeping the incident ray constant, the reflected ray turn an angle of 2 theta. So if you turn the mirror to an angle of theta degree, what happened for the image? The reflected ray rotates an angle of 2 theta. Another main point of plane mirror is how many images are formed in two plane mirrors inclined at an angle. Two plane mirrors inclined at an angle theta, the number of images formed are n equals 360 by theta minus 1. This equation I can use only when 360 by theta is an even integer. Next, if 360 by theta, simple, only 360 by theta for an odd integer. So if you are getting an odd number, if you are dividing this an odd number, that will be the number of images. But if 360 by theta, if you are getting an even number, the number of images is 360 divided by theta minus 1. Another main point for a mirror is a man of height h requires a mirror of length h by 2 to see his full image. In order to see the full image of a man, the length of the mirror should be at least half of the length of the man or half of the height of the man. It should be h by 2. Another one, a reflection of a denser medium causes an additional phase change. This is like a not for a mirror type of thing. There are the cases in which some surfaces undergoes reflection as well as refraction. So, reflection of a denser medium causes an additional phase change or a path difference of lambda by 2, and reflection from a rarer medium does not cause any change. Means you can take this as a surface, this is a rarer medium and this is a denser medium. So when a light ray is incidenting here from rarer to denser, if it's going for a denser medium, it causes a path difference of lambda by 2 or a phase change of pi. But if it is reversed, when it is traveling from denser to a rarer medium, there is no change in the phase. So what I told just now, these are the few main points of a mirror that we did not discuss in the previous videos. So reflection of a denser medium causes an additional phase change of pi and a path change of lambda by 2, whereas reflection from a rarer medium does not cause any change. Okay? So the meaning I told, the light is traveling from rarer to denser. So reflection is happening here near denser means it has a phase difference. But from denser to rarer, reflection is possible at this interface means, at a rarer interface means there is no change. Next, this topic we discussed in a previous video in which assume a coin inside the water. The coin appears to be raised and I gave you an equation for refractive index as real depth by apparent depth. So in this case, object is denser medium, means I have taken a coin inside the water and observer in a rarer medium and we are viewing the coin in air. So object in denser medium, observer in rarer medium. In those situations, apparent depth is lesser than real depth. So any point they can ask for exam. So if object in denser medium, observer in rarer medium means apparent depth is lesser than real depth. Another equation or another case in which you observe a bird flying in air and assume that you are inside water. So in that case, your refractive index n equals apparent depth by real depth. So in this case, object in a rarer medium, that is bird in an air. So we can take here object in a rarer medium and observer in a denser medium. In this situation, apparent depth is greater than real depth. Next, I can take a point called apparent shift they can ask. So just now we have seen like there may be some change in the depth. So if they are asking the apparent shift is real depth minus apparent depth. So if I am taking the equation real depth minus apparent depth means I can take for the first case what happened for the equation. Real depth minus apparent depth. Apparent depth I can write it as real depth by n. So a real depth if you take it common 1 minus 1 by n. So real depth into 1 minus 1 by n is the shift. This situation is very important, that is combined shift. Here we have taken only two medium, but you take a beaker contains some two immiscible liquids of different height and keep an object at the bottom of the beaker. In those situations, what happened to your combined shift? Okay, how we are taking the combined shift means we have taken three different medium of three thickness T1, T2 and T3, three different materials, and these are the thickness, refractive index N1, N2, N3. You are keeping an object here, viewing from here. So in that situation, you get a combined shift. So what should be your combined shift? T1 into the same, this equation only I am writing. The thickness of this part T1, refractive index N1. So T1 into 1 minus 1 by N1 plus T2 into 1 minus 1 by N2 plus T3 into 1 minus 1 by N3. This is the equation for combined shift. Next, this derivation I gave you already, the refraction at a spherical surface. Okay, this case I have taken this as N1 and this is N2, and this is a denser medium and this is a rarer medium. This is the derivation we did in one video. So in this case, refraction to a spherical surface, I can use the equation N2 by V minus N1 by U equals N2 minus N1 by R. In this case, your object you are taken in which medium only? Rarer. Object we are taken in which medium? Rarer. But reverse situation. Reverse situation means you are taken your object in a denser medium. So it means that it is a reverse case. Your object, okay, this is a denser. Here is your object you assume. If the object is in denser medium, and at that situation your equation just you reverse the terms. It means this N2 you write as N1, shortcut form. N1 you write as N2. Here also N2, N1 minus N2 by R. So the equation will get reversed. So it's a very important thing for solving numericals. So before applying the equation, you check it whether your object is in rarer medium or denser medium. According to this, what is the convention I used here? It is N1 and N2. Remember, N1 is a rarer medium I have taken and N2 is a denser medium I have taken. Okay? And object is in N2 is a denser medium I have taken. N1 is a rarer medium I have taken. So in the first situation, your object is lying in a rarer medium and object is lying in a rarer medium. Second case, object is lying in a denser medium. Next, this is also an important point. Remember, I gave the diagram here. The first diagram you drawn from class 10 itself. So we know that convex lens is also called converging lens. But now I am telling convex lens can show a diverging nature also. When? When a convex lens placed in a medium of refractive index greater than the refractive index of the lens. Okay, so what I told, I wrote here NL, NM. NL means refractive index of lens, NM means refractive index of medium. It means convex lens become a converging lens when refractive index of the lens is greater than refractive index of medium. But convex lens can act as a diverging lens when refractive index of the medium is greater than refractive index of the lens. If medium and lens refractive index are same, it won't show any nature. Light rays goes parallel. It's like a glass plate. It shows like a glass plate. See, reverse case. We know that concave lens are diverging lens provided the condition refractive index of lens should be greater than refractive index of medium. But refractive index of lens is lesser than refractive index of medium, or medium refractive index is greater, this diverging lens going as a converging lens. Here both are like same refractive index, it appears like a glass plate. Okay, so very important point. When a concave lens shows a converging nature, when it is immersed in a medium of refractive index greater than the lens. Okay, next, it's a very funny thing. Next, we can cut the lens. Assume it's like this is a convex lens. We can cut this convex lens along the optical axis. Optical axis means the axis which is perpendicular to principal axis, or I call it like a transverse cutting, perpendicular cutting. If you cut perpendicularly, it behaves as two plano convex lens of double the focal length. A symmetric lens cut along optical axis that is perpendicular to principal axis. Two plano convex lens of double the focal length is obtained. And the intensity of each part remains same. You can just use these two. If you combine these two, we get this. You can use the lenses in combination equation, that is 1 by 2f plus 1 by 2f is 2 by 2f, and we get it as f. So focal length f lens is cut like perpendicular along the optical axis. It behaves as two plano convex lens of double the focal length. But if you cut the lens transverse or along the principal axis, if you cut along which one? If you cut along the principal axis, so I did not write here, cut along principal axis, its focal length never changes. Its focal length never changes. Focal length remains same, but the intensity will be little less. Another one is very important thing. You see inside the lens, I filled three material here. Three material, N1, N2, N3. The lens is filled with three different material of three different refractive index, means we get three different images. Inside the lens is filled with three different refractive index. Then how many images formed? Three images formed. But if you keep the material like this if you fill, we get only one image, because the light goes for this one, again going here and gets one image. But here means from the top it will get focused at one point, from the middle the light ray focused at another point, and from the down it focused at another point, so we get three images. But if you keep it like this, we get only one image. These are the funny things in our lens. Lens, if you cut along optical axis, along principal axis, inside the lens you can fill the material like this, transverse or like a parallel along the principal axis. This is like a filling perpendicular along the principal axis. filling perpendicular. Now another main thing for a lens is you take a lens and one side you silver the lens. If you silver the lens means this, say for example, I have taken here three different cases. I have taken a plano convex lens. For a plano convex lens means one side is plane. Okay, we have taken here the one side is plane, other side is a convex lens. So here this side I am shading. If I am shading this surface, it acts as a mirror. Here also you see plane surface I silvered, it acts as a mirror. Here I have taken a double convex lens and the convex side I silvered. This type of situation, what happened actually, light rays pass through this plane surface, refraction goes to convex surface or concave surface, and what happened going to concave surface? It get reflected, again coming back here, refraction. It means that on silvering the lens, it behaves as a mirror. The focal length of the silvered lens can be calculated by the equation 1 by f is 2 by FL plus 1 by FM. I hope you understood, you got why it is FL by 2. Why we are getting 2 by FL? Because there are two refraction. First, light enters, refraction, going here, reflection, again coming back. Okay, light enters, going here, reflecting, and it is coming back. So two reflections are there. Two refractions are there and one reflection. So we can write 1 by F is 2 by FL plus 1 by FM. You can directly use the equation. FL is focal length of the lens, which refraction happens twice. Okay, which lens they are acting. FM is focal length of the mirror. So in this case, the light is going and incidentting at the concave side. So I have taken here, if you see this concave, you can take FM as R by 2. FL is, I have taken for the plano convex lens formula. What is plano convex lens formula? 1 by F is equal to N2 by N1 minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Know this, right? For a plane case means I had taken here 1 by infinity minus 1 by minus R for a plano lens. So it is n minus 1 into by R. So this is the formula I used. This is 1 by F. So if you want FL, take reciprocal R by n minus 1. If you substitute these two values in the top equation, I get the focal length as R by 2n. Very important thing. What I told, I have taken this part. Okay. So first we have taken which mirror only? Convex side. So we have taken this as a convex mirror. So sorry, this is a plano convex lens. Plano convex lens, convex side we are silvering. So this part acts as a which mirror? Concave mirror. And focal length of the lens, we get the formula R by n minus 1 by your lens maker's formula only. Lens maker's formula 1 by F is equal to N2 by N1 minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. And remember, plane surface means radius of curvature is infinity. This I took it as n minus 1 because here we are taken refractive index as 1. So it is 1 by infinity minus 1 by minus of R. Minus will become plus. So we can write n minus 1 by R. Substitute this, we get the focal length. Second case, plane surface and silvering. Plane surface, if you silver, it acts as a plane mirror. So plane mirror focal length infinity. Apply the convex, this part, it's for a plano convex surface. We get by lens maker's formula, we get FL is equal to R divided by n minus 1. Substitute these two values in this equation, I get this. Last case, convex lens Convex surface we are silvering. So this acts as a concave mirror. So focal length of the mirror is r by 2. Focal length of the lens is applying the lens maker's formula. When you are taking the lens maker's formula, you should remember both are convex surface. So one side will be r, other side will be minus r. So we will get r divided by 2 into n minus 1. I hope you understood how I am getting this equation. Same lens maker's formula. Here also r will come. So it will be 2 by r. That only we are getting. If you apply these two equations, these two equations here, we get the formula F equals r divided by 2 into 2n minus 1. So lens silvering is a very important topic. So same thing, I have given all the cases. Only one thing, when we silver a lens, it behaves as a mirror. So when it acts as a mirror, there are 2 refraction and 1 reflection possible. This is the standard equation. Then mirror, direct mirror, you can write focal length is equal to r by 2. If it is for the convex surface, you apply the lens maker's formula, form an equation for FL, focal length of the lens, and apply in this formula to get the effective focal length. Same cases we get for the concave also. In place of this all, you try with the concave also. Now a small topic is there for the angular dispersion. Angular dispersion means we know the white color. For a prism, if you pass the white light is passing through a prism, it getting emerged. It emerged to violet to red, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. We know that red has least deviation. So they may ask angular dispersion means delta V by delta R. Deviation of violet minus deviation of red, that will be the angular dispersion. Deviation of violet, you can apply the formula. I used a letter mu only for refractive index here. No need to worry, mu is nothing but refractive index. Refractive index only. So mu v minus 1 into a is the deviation of violet. Deviation of red means mu r minus 1 into a. A cancel, mu v minus mu r into a. This is angular dispersion. Sometimes they may ask dispersive power. Dispersive power is a ratio of angular dispersion to mean deviation. Angular dispersion to mean deviation. Angular dispersion, we got it. Mean deviation means standard formula for deviation is mu minus 1 into a or n minus 1 into a. So it can be mu v minus mu r by mu minus 1 is the equation for dispersive power. So what is angular dispersion? I told you all the colors are getting deviated and you have to see what should be the angular dispersion. And here you should remember main thing. We know that deviation of violet is greater than deviation of red because refractive index of violet is greater than refractive index of red. The reason is wavelength of red color is greater than wavelength of violet. Okay. Few places if they are given the mean deviation, no other value means you can calculate in this form also. Deviation of violet plus deviation of red by 2, we can take it as mean deviation. Okay, it depends upon the questions and the data what they are giving. Few places we will take the green as the standard mean deviation and you will take the mean deviation as the deviation of green color also. So these are the some extra points you have to remember. Thank you. This part is brought to you by VGuide TV channel. Subscribe for more videos of class 1 to class 12 for boards, boards, JEE, NEET and for NTSC. Subscribe for VGuide TV channel. Thank you.